he was a Division I baseball player at the time that it happened. And I guarantee you the way he looked then versus the way he looked now is two different things. And people would treat him completely different then versus now. What is up, y'all? Welcome to the Thought Diet channel. Today, we are going to jump into the first installment of the River Chronicles series. Our goal here at Thought Diet is to just challenge you in the way you think. There is a lot of focus on the different foods we eat and how those foods change our body and make it more efficient or more healthy. I'm trying to challenge your thoughts and to see if your thoughts can not only change how you carry yourself and change your lifestyle, but also give you inspiration to follow your purpose and to live in your purpose and hopefully be a light to other people. So that is our goal with this channel. You may hear a phrase, food for thought. Really, a lot of people use food for thought, literally talking about food. Clearly, for us, that's going to be more of a metaphor for just something for you to think about and digest, and hopefully it'll be beneficial to you in your life as it has been beneficial to me. So, jumping right in, today I had my quiet time with God at the river. I call it the river, but it is a lake. And I try to do this weekly, mainly because of a bunch of crazy things that have been going on in my life. It is a good way for me to center myself back in God and just put myself in a moment of meditation and listening and just seeing if God is telling me anything. So I went to the river today. First, I was going to read my book, and then felt like I didn't really give God time to just have me like clear mind. So I put the book down and I just sat there. It was very, very hot. When I say very hot, I mean like we're talking about over 100. Like we're talking hot enough that the rock I was sitting on never got cooler, even as I was sitting on it. It was just hot. Okay. I'm sitting out there. I'm listening to see if God has something to tell me. There's a couple things that came to mind that unfortunately I can't really remember right now, but they are important, so I will remember those soon. But that's not what today is about. I ended up continuing to read my book. I'll show you my book. Oh, sorry about that. This is the book I've been reading, The 5 Love Languages. I am a slow reader, but I'm making my way through. I'm almost there. I was continuing to read my book and seeing some important things about love being a choice, which is something I definitely agree with. And we will definitely have more videos on this channel about love in the future. So stay tuned. But as I finished my book, something interesting happened. Now, while I was reading it, there was this white dude who walked by me and he had like his shirt half off. And like I said, it's hot outside. Typically, this river is packed if it's warm. There was no one out there but me and this white dude who just comes out of nowhere while I'm reading. Like he walked past me on the river rocks. He did not come on the sidewalk behind me. He was walking essentially in the river past me. Now, like I said, his shirt was half off and he had an interesting build. He was thin, but a little chubby. We're going to call him TJ. Clearly, because I gave him a name, I had an encounter with him. I'm not going to lie. When I first saw him, I had an urge to record him and kind of be like, whose man is this type thing. But I'm very glad I didn't. And in retrospect, that's kind of a jerk thing to do. And I think that's the thing a lot of us kind of do, not realizing that there's a person on the other side, you know, who has real life problems and things like that. So TJ is walking around and he's just kind of walking on the rocks at this point. Okay. Right to the left while I'm reading my book. Literally the moment I put the bookmark in and closed the book, TJ, and I'm sitting on a rock that's about 6 feet tall. So my feet are dangling kind of like J. Cole in the 2014 Forest Hills Drive album off of the house. That's how my feet were dangling off the rock. I thought it was pretty dope. TJ comes up to me and he just kind of stands there and he just starts talking to me. And I was kind of like surprised because one, it's hot. Two, he looked a little different. He looked a little odd, right? That was why I wanted to record him. Looked a little odd. Starts talking to me and he asked me what I'm reading. And you can tell when someone has something on their mind because they don't really just keep it moving. They kind of linger. And I notice it tends to be people who want to see if you care. And I want the first point from this story is I know a lot of us have itineraries. I was not in the greatest headspace coming to the river. In most cases, I'm not, because like I said, it's a place for me to center and refocus on God. Typically, when my faith starts to wither, or I start to get wary of my journey in life and seeing where I'm trying to go, and not seeing any ground being made up, so to speak, or at least from my perspective. So I do want to encourage you all. Sometimes it's okay to like take a break. In fact, many times it's okay to take a break. And if you have someone in front of you and you never know if they were put there for you or you were put there for them, or there's a mutual connection between you two. So like I said, I'm sitting on this rock. I gave him the book, and at this point, like I said, I've been spending time with God, so I'm just trying to talk to God in the middle of this interaction to see, like, is this person a threat to me? Because honestly, like, me being a black dude, this dude being a white dude I'd never seen before, his teeth weren't really in good shape. A couple were missing and stuff. I couldn't tell how old he was at first, but he was between 20 and 40. Give you a little bit of better image. He had jeans on. He had some kind of rundown shoes on. Okay. And at this point, his shirt was completely off and he has it in his hand. So I gave him the book. He looks at the book. He's like, and like starts flipping through the pages. And I'm like, okay, this is now it's taking a little bit longer than I expected. I was like, give you the book, be nice. Okay, I get the book back. All right, you have a good day. All right, take care. But he looks through the book a bit. And then he starts opening up to me about his life. And over this time, I learned. And the interesting thing is, you could tell he wasn't really comfortable doing it. And it seemed like he didn't really know why he was opening up to me. And a lot of these river stories will kind of follow that same idea where these people come up to me and they don't really know why they're comfortable. He literally said, I don't understand why I'm so comfortable around you. He said he was like a megalophobe or something like that. Essentially, he was saying he doesn't like people, right? So, and this just so happened to be his first time at the river in 5 years. And this is the first time I ever sat in this spot. I typically sit 50 yards to the left, right? So he opens up to me, telling me essentially how he had been in a car accident when he was 21 years old, broke his back, broke his pelvis, and had been on medication, drugs, what have it. Essentially seemed like he had struggled with some sort of substance. Okay, you can kind of tell and smell when someone is kind of in the middle of a substance fight, whether that be with alcohol or drugs. And alcohol technically is a drug for those who do not know. And he's opening up, and he talks about his 7-year-old kid, and I'm just listening this whole time. And we end up just having this conversation where he's telling me about the issues in his life. I'm telling him about the issues in my life. And he apologized like 4 or 5 times, like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for like telling this. I don't know why I'm telling you all that, until eventually like we got to a point where he realized he wasn't being judged and he just felt comfortable sharing. And I realized like he wasn't a threat. So I felt comfortable sharing as well. And we just talked, and it was so healing, to be honest. I have been working on my disposition to many white people, particularly ones I do not know, because again, I have not had the best experiences with white people I do not know. We ended this conversation in like over 100 degrees. Man's got his shirt off. By the time we ended, he knew my relationship with my dad. I knew his relationship with his family, with his son. And I knew the difficulties he had in his life. I knew where he was trying to go and what he thought his purpose was. He knew what I believe my purpose to be and where I was trying to go. But then my frustrations with where I am at and not understanding how to get where I'm trying to go, but really feeling like I'm capable of it and really feeling like God is working there, but I still don't see it. We talked about all of this for 45 minutes. And the same dude that was foreign enough to me that I wanted to record and honestly probably didn't feel comfortable from a cleanliness perspective. We ended with me doing a healing prayer over his back and me believing in my heart and taking a leap of faith and expressing to him, I understand you've been in tremendous pain and you haven't been able to run. And it's interesting because I had met someone last week who was in a similar situation, but they weren't ready to change. During the middle of our conversation, he wanted to light up a cigarette and the lighter wouldn't work. So he ended up, now this is littering, but for the purposes of the story, it's good. He ended up throwing the cigarette lighter away, but he was trying so hard. He was fighting so hard to light it. I mean, he tried over 50 times to light this one cigarette. And he was like, maybe this is a sign. He threw it away. And he had already been off of pain medication. That was one of the reasons he actually didn't want to run. He said he could run, but the pain hurt so bad, it made him want to go back to the drugs. So he had left the drug addiction. He still had a whole vial of alcohol in his front pocket. And he again apologized for that when he learned I was a Christian. He said, I'm sorry, man. I was like, look, man, I'm not the type of Christian that's sitting here to judge you. I'm the type of Christian I'm trying to be like Christ, where he just looks at you as a friend, as a human being. He doesn't look at you as a sinner or what have you, right? Like he looks at you as someone he's going to die for back in the biblical times, but Christ now looks at you as someone he did die for. Now, of course, I didn't die for nobody, but I know I was died for. So I know I am a sinner. I'm looking at someone like that, especially once I got to know him. It's just a human being. I'm not sitting there judging him. So once we get past all of these officialities, we're talking about religion, we're talking about faith, life plans, all the stuff I mentioned before. I end up praying for him. I literally have my hand on his back for this healing prayer. And we end up in just a straight up hug. And again, I am really not the type of person to be sitting up in there hugging no sweaty person. I don't know. I really am not the type. So I just want to share this with you. One, I hope it's an interesting story, but most importantly, I hope that the next time you see someone that may look a little dirty, that may smell like alcohol, that may seem lost, realize that one, it could have been you in the car accident that changed your life. Because when he was in the car accident, he was a Division I baseball player at the time that it happened. And I guarantee you the way he looked then versus the way he looked now is two different things. And people would treat him completely different then versus now, 7 years apart. Because I learned he was in his late 20s now with a 7-year-old son, like I said. People would treat him completely different just based off his appearance. And really, that's terrible. That's something we all need to work on. So I want to expand our thoughts on that. Now, for some people, safety is an issue, and I do understand that. There are things I can do as a 6'2", 215-pound male that may not be safe for someone else. But in a safe environment, I do want us to open our minds as to how God can use us, how God can use other people that may not look like people we really associate with, if we just open our minds and allow God to take that space and allow God to lead us. Another thing I want you to consider is what you can learn from someone else. I learned that he was a boxer, and I asked him how does a boxer fight someone who's bigger and stronger than them. He said, well, I'll be faster, but if I'm not faster, I'll be patient and study their movements, kind of reverse engineer their movements. And so that was something I learned I didn't know. And of course, that has plenty of applications to real life. What really stuck with me, though, was seeing how he didn't know how to change, but you could see he wanted to change so bad. And you could see him talk about his son and how much he loves his son and how much he wanted to change. for his son. And that's what really led me to pray so boldly for him, on his behalf, even though he's not really religious at all. He didn't even really mention the belief in any type of spiritual being or anything. Definitely not a Christian at all. So, but he was open to that, and I was open to taking that leap of faith and just really, like, after talking to God, like really believing that God will move in his life in a way that would change TJ's life forever. So hopefully this inspires something in you. I'm going to be sharing these encounters I have, and I hope you guys can learn from them, just a little bit of as much as I've learned from all these different people I got to meet that, again, face value may have looked dirty, but once I got to mature a little bit and grow a little bit, but really once I got to experience them, I just saw beauty instead of anything else. So, food for thought. I will see you next video.